Welcome to Nightlight. Step away from the mainstream and gather around as we enlighten the world and our realities and travel this cosmic journey we call life. Join us as we share with you and provide that beacon that can guide us all to a better way. Explore with us as we examine a metaphysical montage of spiritual insights, covering everything from the mundane to the magical, UFOs to unicorns, and everything in between. This is a time of awakening, of sharing and evolving, of spreading our wings and soaring on the cosmic breath of creation. Come and join with other light-minded spirits as we weave our lights together to seek understanding, enlightenment, and, with a little luck, some wisdom. This is Nightlight, a reminder that you are never alone.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome to Nightlight. Tonight's going to be a fun night. I want to thank, first of all, Ken Quiethawk for that amazing intro. You can find him at nativestorytellers.com. He and his wife have an amazing website and are spectacularly, wonderfully talented people. Tonight, Mark Eddy is going to be doing the hosting, and I'm sitting second chair, and he's in charge of everything this evening, almost. We are going to be doing readings in the second hour, so if you're interested in getting a reading from the Mystic Sisters, make sure you call in early. The call-in number is 773-897-6114. Jeannie will screen you and get you in line, and when we start doing readings, we'll just go first come, first serve. So, that said, Mark, I am so excited to have you hosting again and to sit second chair and watch you be the expert that you are.
Expert, and I'm in charge of everything. Well, you know, I'm trying to live up to your expectations, but yeah, how are you doing?
Doing well, doing very, very well. Thank you.
Yeah, I'm excited. This is show number 4.
Yes.
We're getting there. And also, let's see what. Say happy anniversary to the namer of Marky Mark. We got through it. She knows who she is. But I just need to say that and a couple other things. But during anything you want to say, or do you want me to get started?
Well, just that we will be doing readings, and if people want to get one, they have to call in first. Jeannie will be doing the screening, and I think also, especially the girls have a vast knowledge in lots of different areas. You're going to be covering a lot of them with them. And I'm fascinated, about a lot of them. When I was looking for the graphics for the show, I was fascinated by all of the different areas that you're going to be covering with them. So I'm very excited. So, yeah, get going.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Well, good. Yeah, and, I just wanted to thank everyone for their support of the 3 live shows and the archives. I think once kind of get through this dealing with some of the aging family member things, hopefully things are going to stabilize quickly and we can have a little bit more, a fixed date. But, we're working on that. But
regularity.
Yeah. And, we'll just keep working on expanding your global media empire or Nightlight or Nightlight Part 2, Redux, the Director's Cut, Live at Budokan, whatever we're going to call it. It's fun.
Yes, it is.
But,
it's lots of fun. So tell me about these girls that you're going to be bringing on.
Yeah, one of the things we want to do is talk about mysteries in each state, and we're going to be covering a little bit of Iowa, in Wisconsin tonight, and I think this is going to be a pivotal show because Tamara and Dawnette will be expanding on some of Lon Krieger's information about the Hochunk culture, and he was talking about the ancient Michigan garden beds a couple weeks ago, and they can make some links to other guests we have coming up. Hopefully, Chad Lewis is going to be one of them. To be talking a little bit about Bon Scott, which leads into, I guess we're hoping to have on towards the end of the month, maybe in early November, and that is Susan Messina. So we need to also say happy birthday to Susan. But Dawnette and Tamara are biological sisters who are both certified hypnotherapists and Reiki masters. They have worked in the field of paranormal and spirit connection with leading researchers since 1994, before it was cool. They specialize in mediumship and native prophecy. So let's open up the phone lines and bring Tamara and Dawnette in.
Okay, girls, you're on the air.
Hello, Barbara and Mark. How are you this evening?
Oh, we're fine. How's everything in the upper Midwest?
Stormy, actually. We've had tornado watches and warnings going on in the area. We took our mother up north, so we're up north actually, and calling in from up north. So we're getting through having noisy neighbors at the hotel and kicking Mom out of the room, but we're excited to be here.
We're glad you're here. So, might as well just start with the most recent event. You were at the Van Meter Visitor Conference in Iowa over the weekend. Can you tell us a little bit about what this visitor was, and when did this happen? This mystery happen?
Well, it actually happened in the late 1800s. The town, it's just a little small town in Iowa, and it had an old mining shaft just outside of town, and supposedly this visitor, and Chad Lewis is definitely going to be the expert in the field on his, and Kevin Nelson on his visitor book, but working with the Hochunk, it sounds very similar to what in Hochunk legend called the Thunderbird is what it sounds very similar to. But supposedly a very large one came out of an old mining shaft, in the underworld, and came out, and the town is pretty much held hostage by this big, enormous bird, pterodactyl-looking bird with a glowing horn on its head. And you can walk through the town and see where many of the town people, hid away in the church for, I think it was 3 to 5 days. So we love to support Chad Lewis and all of his adventures. You definitely have to go check out Chad Lewis's books at Unexplained Research with .com. Dawnette and I have worked with Chad for the last 20 years, researching everything from Tombstone, Arizona, to Deadwood, to just all over Florida. We researched. So what he would do, Chad has his degree in parapsychology, and he actually wrote his thesis on the paranormal. And this has been, 20 years ago plus. So we've just been stomping, going to all these different, what now the Hochunk, have told us are actually sacred sites, which are portals and they say that the veils of the spirit world and our world are very thin there. So we've learned so much about these different sacred sites across America working with unexplained research. And it's just been what we call a spirit-led adventure, the synchronicities and the people we meet, and it's just been really a blast. So we have, yes, working in the paranormal, but being psychic mediums, being certified hypnotherapists, we were consultants down at the Country Music Hall of Fame. We've met a lot of really, really cool dead people, but there is no death. So, and that's what we try to teach people. Everybody can connect with their loved ones on the other side. They're just in a different realm, and there is a form of communication that you can still talk to them.
Okay. Is there any kind of communication still going on with the Van Meter visitor? Is it still being seen? Is anyone somehow relating to it?
Not lately, not that I know of, but all across the country there are still Thunderbird sightings. And what the Hochunk have told us is that as the veils get thinner, these interdimensional beings will continue to be seen, because as the veils get thinner in time and our realities get closer and closer together. That's why paranormal sightings are through the roof right now. And that's why all these shows are so popular, because people have more questions than answers. And we feel like we, started it so long ago with our childhood, growing up on a sacred site, that we were the weird ones before. We just kind of kept these, to ourselves, these crazy stories of living on a sacred site that the veils were thin. But now far more people are waking up to it as we ascend on this planet.
Okay.
I'm
sorry, Dawnette, go ahead.
Oh, yes. The Van Meter visitor, many of the people that were at that festival had also been to the Mothman Festival. So it seems to be linked in that same realm of paranormal, something that seems to be lurking out there and watching us with definitely an intelligence, but we're just in the dark still as to what it is, and so it ranks right up there with Bigfoot and Mothman. And yet, the Mothman being a prophecy, what does that mean? So it just one question asks another. So that's what's led us on this path, definitely for this many years.
And when I spoke with Chad at the Mothman conference, he brought to my attention that this Thunderbird, what cryptid, whatever, this creature is from Iowa, did appear at the turn of the last century. So this sighting started about 60, 70 years prior to Mothman. So, it does seem like there's some, a reason why people would, have a common interest to go to both conferences and investigate, this phenomenon.
Definitely. It was interesting, too, because we, living, in Midwestern Wisconsin, we drove all the way down, and it was a rainstorm. And as we put the sightings together as being close to the Thunderbirds, and here we're down there, and we're in a rainstorm. So that opened us up to just one more question about what is a water spirit, and what does that bring together as well in prophecy and in legend. So
can you identify if Mothman appeared kind of around a time there was going to be a major accident, and with the other one, is there some comparison between events happening after the appearance?
Well, we're definitely not the people to ask on on that, but Chad definitely has all of the background and the history on that. I have read about the Mothman prophecy and sat up late one night, scared to look out my window, but it goes hand in hand with the Bigfoot and the Well,
when the veils are thin like that, there. Some people may think it's kind of a warning. Are they some kind of interdimensional being that has a higher frequency or a higher vibe, can actually warn us? Much like an angel or what have you, that have more of a sense or, beyond sixth sense to what we know, that would actually come out and maybe warn humans of upcoming disaster or something like that. The natives say that anytime you're able to see through the veil and see one of these special beings, it's a gift. It's they show themselves to you for a reason. And so that's definitely, we've been able to be, because our third eyes were so wide open through our childhood. What we've noticed through the years of paranormal investigating is that we'll actually see things first. And people, because if it's not in their realm, not in their scope of reality, they won't see it, So we've been able to point things out that others can't see. And that seems to be what our job and our mission is here, because if there's a spirit in the room, we can say, do you feel that? And before you know it, everybody does. Or people can feel that or sense the goosebumps or get an image or impression. We just help and assist people, and we poke them in the third eye to see through the dimension that we've been able to see through childhood. And we do believe it is like working a muscle, living in these sacred places, because once you see it, you can't unsee it, right? Once you start seeing spirits, you can't unsee it. Although we tried for many years. It was we didn't have answers, for these things that we saw in the sky, or for these, big hairy creatures in the woods. We didn't have answers for those, or the spirits that would be in our room at night. So it sent us on a journey, to really, truly understand that these are truly gifts of spirit, and this isn't anything, to be afraid of. But we just, we just were born this way, but we were able to open up our third eye at such a young age, and it just never shut. But we believe everybody is waking up and their third eyes are being activated right now. And we are in a great time. I mean, people are popping awake like popcorn to see through the world and dimensions we've seen, our whole lives. So it's kind of exciting, really.
And Dawnette, Tamara just mentioned, both of you've had third eyes open at an early age. How did growing up on a sacred site, help to develop this gift?
Well, I guess at age 11, my cousin and I saw something that the best thing we could explain it as would be a Bigfoot creature. We both had the experience. We both described the same thing, but just in different language, different terms. She was 9, I was 11. So what I said had red eyes and were glowing. She said it looked as though it was crying. And so we started having these experiences and held true to them, it was huge. It was at least 9 to 12 feet tall and white, and we stayed with that story and still remain very, very true to that story. We have never veered from it, even when people would make fun of us and kids that we saw Bigfoot. Both of us were very adamant in saying, yes, we saw something. I don't know what it was, but we saw something. And it was several years ago. Our brother was in northern Wisconsin. It was a snowstorm, and he drives semi for a living, and he turned because there was someone walking down the road, he said, and it was kind of running down the side of the road, and he turned his head and looked out the passenger side of his semi, And he said it came up to the window, and it wasn't until he got past it that he realized that it would have to be 8 to 10 feet tall to be looking into his semi-window. So all of that ribbing and kidding all of a sudden got very serious for him as well as an adult. So, and there's just too many people that have those experiences. So, you know, I opened my heart and my mind to the fact that there's something else out there, and then that also took us to hypnotherapy, where my hypnosis instructor assisted me through that experience and helped me to understand it a little better and a little deeper in meaning. So that was one experience. We had multiple experiences out there, but
Dawnette, was this a ceremonial center where you grew up?
The area out there,
inside an earthwork or wooden post stockade kind of structure?
It was next to a creek where we saw it, and there were pine trees, but the trails that went through there is where the old stagecoach used to go through. So, you know, we're not real sure. Yeah, there's a fur trading post right down the road from where we grew up. So we're not sure necessarily of the land itself and whether or not there was a ceremonial place, but it definitely was a sacred place.
The Hochunk had bought up the property all around that, knowing that it is a sacred place. We don't know what, you know, just knowing that the veils are thin there. Right.
Okay.
Yeah, our elder, one of our elder teachers, and we've had many wonderful elder teachers, but the one that blanketed me for doing a painting, he said that when we said, you know, because when we met him, and we'll get into that story, but I had a million questions, and he had the right answers, you know, with the UFOs and Bigfoot and all of that. And when I told him about Bigfoot in our backyard, he's like, oh, yeah, they're out there. They're just very, very matter of fact, you know, because they've always been here, right? They've known the land before houses and cities, and that's why they marked these sacred sites with effigy mounds, so they could be seen from the sky, but also to mark that, you know, this is where the veils are thin. You might find these here, you know. So it's just been remarkable. And there's just so many effigy mounds or portals, as they say, with all the copper and the lime and the water in Wisconsin, that it truly is just like getting plugged into a battery. So I think that's probably had a lot to do with working our third eyes and expanding our realities, you know, at such a young age.
Okay. And you know, when and how did you become involved with the Hochunk tribe?
Well,
where do we start? Well, my brother, my eldest brother, when he was in high school, was supposed to be in a car with a young Native man by the name of John Thunder, a good friend of his from football and high school, and that young man drowned that night. And you know, we always knew of my brother, you know, being so sad about him drowning because he was going to be with them. Well, then a series of experiences where people would drive by that site and see him in full regalia dancing, and they'd pull alongside the road, and they didn't know him. They just, you know, strangely had brought these stories to me. And so he had been seen several times, along with his grandfather, a chieftain. Our school was the Osseo Fairchild Chieftains. And so that's when he really started coming, and he'd start coming to me, just like I'm talking to you here in my ear, in the late 90s. And, I mean, it was just like, if you ever seen the movie The Ghost, where Patrick Swayze's like singing, I'm Henry VIII. I mean, I was like Whoopi Goldberg. I couldn't get away from him. He was telling me of all these stories of my brother and him, and how they went messing around in a boat, and he's telling me all these different stories. And then finally I told Dawn about it because I thought I was losing my mind. And then he started coming to her. And, you know, we just had research with Chad Lewis. We went out to the site, the big scenic overlook called Buena Vista that he passed away near, and we just didn't know why he was coming through at all, and what point he was trying to make. And he would start telling us many things that the Hochunk basically said that this is things that we should not know unless we've been in, you know, 2 ice ages worth of sweat lodges about the times that were coming. That the veils of the spirit world and our world are getting thinner. He told us exactly how we were going to meet his father. And when we meet him, to tell him that he's okay, his brothers and sisters are okay, and that we would be doing the new chieftain logo. And we thought we were crazy. But then he started haunting us along with Mr. Bon Scott, of the former lead singer of AC/DC, trying to tell us that we are all one, we're all connected here, there's no red carpet in the afterlife, and any one of you can talk to any one of us. We're here, we're all connected, and we didn't understand that. But he would show us this, and this is one of those, teaching us how the spirit world would communicate. Anytime we'd feel or sense him around, the song Thunderstruck by AC/DC would play.
Right.
And then Bon Scott started coming through and haunting us just the same. And, you know, we'd laugh and we'd say, oh, sure, oh, sure. Well, a few years, you know, after the logo, and yes, I mean, he told us that here you'll make this chieftain logo, but they're going to change it. Just do it anyway. And we changed it, and then the state had changed it. So now it is, because of spiritual reasons, but now it's a Norse god of thunder, which John told us it would be. So we just, you know, he's just been an incredible spirit guide. But I'll pass it over to Dawn. But so anyway, we were doing readings down in Madison, Wisconsin. And Bon Scott had been haunting us for 3 years. Now, usually when spirits haunt us, what we've learned over the years is it can be anybody from, and I mean, we have a long, long list of incredible people, but we always say, sure, okay, when are we going to meet their family, or when are we going to meet their friends? Because they'll start coming to us because there is no time, right? They already know that we're going to meet them before we meet their family, and it's just truly incredible. But we're sitting down to do a reading in Madison, Wisconsin. This beautiful blonde woman came and sat down and wanted to get a reading, and there was Bon Scott. And I'm like, okay, I just have to tell you, music will come through very commonly in readings if that has a connection to you and your loved one. But I'm hearing Dirty Deeds by Bon Scott. And she started crying and taking my hand, and she said, tell him I love him and I miss him. And what? And you know, she was the first person to interview AC/DC in the States, in Madison, Wisconsin, and has written 3 books about them. And anyway, so before you knew it, you know, we were, you know, in front of Angus Young telling him the whole story, because Bon had a message not only for Susan but for Angus Young and the band, that he was okay. So it's just truly amazing what they'll do to get their message to their loved ones, that it's all going to be okay. You know, to keep going, and they have no regret. They have no shame or blame. It's just total acceptance and love, and we all cross over when it's our time. We get a say in that.
How did Angus respond to hearing your story?
Well, Angus, well, we ended up giving him one of our Muse tax. Got to promote, you know, to go down and meet Angus, you know, you got to have a tax deduction. So we did give him our the Muse CD, which I think we'll be giving away a copy tonight. So anyway, it's a hypnosis CD to help you connect with that spirit realm, connect with the creative aspect of yourself. And we like to think that Angus was using it and got the band back together. But we don't have confirmation. How did he respond? Susan had already informed us that Angus will love this. And he was so very grateful. And we told him just a quick little, we've met him a few times now, and he's just a wonderful man. But he's like, oh, so Bon Scott is your spirit guide. Yes, with the Native Americans. Yes. And he, no pun intended, took our CD and was looking at it, and giddy as a schoolboy. He was very thrilled. I'm sure a lot of psychic mediums don't hand him hypnosis CDs and say, Bon says he's okay, and here you go.
And you have the photo with you and Dawnette, Susan, and Angus on your website. That was pretty impressive.
At least on our, it was. He's a sweetheart. He really is. And it's, Susan has known him since, they were in their 20s, and when AC/DC tickets were $3 a piece. She's known him for over 40 years. So she's they adore her. And but when we met him the first time down in Chicago, we also met him. I guess we'd met him in Chicago twice. But the first time, it wasn't like, oh my God, here he is. It was a sense of grace of God flowed over us, of we're all one and we are all connected, and nobody is better or worse. We're all having a human experience. It was a beautiful, we were just meeting Susan's friend, right? But, one of the most noted, guitar players in the history of the world.
And it was kind of a challenge as well, because when the logo stuff had started, the logo issues in Osceola had began, John, I believe, set off my alarm system in my Jeep Cherokee, and blared the radio and had the windshield wipers going when I stepped back into my car one day, and Thunderstruck was playing on the radio. And so I said out loud to him, okay, John, let us meet Angus, or let us meet the band, I said.
And we'll believe
you. And we'll believe you, and we'll get busy and do this work. And, it was, 2 years later we were meeting Angus Young, and the band at that time had not even been together. So they had not been putting music out or touring. So we're looking forward to the new album possibly coming out very soon. So we're sure that they still have work for us to do. Maybe our Muse CD had a little something to do with this new album coming out. Ha ha. But hey, nothing's impossible, obviously.
Well, we've just met so many wonderful people. Like I said, Dawn and I, once we have somebody start coming in, we just never know who it's going to be. And actually, even our younger sister had this happen. Shortly after Chris Farley passed away, he started kind of hanging around and jumping around us like Chris Farley would do. And
was this down by the river?
You betcha.
He's
from Madison, Wisconsin, where Susan's from, so it's not a big surprise. Susan's actually seen him on the streets of Madison just shortly before he passed, but, he passed over in Chicago as well, right actually across the street from where we met Angus, right? So anyway, I feel like Chris Farley doing his interviews, so, anyway, but our logo designer, an artist by the name of Rick Fisk, he's like, wow, gosh, he's a musician, and it was so intrigued of all the rock stars we've brought through, and I said, yeah, you just never know who's going to haunt us. I said, Chris Farley haunted us for years, and he got a tear in his eye. He's like, I was good friends with Chris, he knew him working at the rehab in Minnesota. So, I mean, in the stuff, the messages we had for him were valid. And thank you, Rick Fisk, for a wonderful logo that he's designed for our office, Valhalla, Haven of Healing in Osseo, and our Mystic Sister logo. He's made us posters. He is so psychic and tapped in. We all are, we really all are. But, it's just so fun to meet. I mean, you take your energy and your humor with you, they really do. It's not like all of a sudden they've got angel wings and are like, some advanced being that, they know you're having a human experience, and they're going to come through in a way that them.
I'm gonna razz you.
Oh yeah, for sure. He's just as, he bounces across, he bounces around the room, talks just as fast as he did in life.
Okay, so you and Dawn have had some experiences in the cities, and another place we spoke about that really intrigued me that may have some more mystical places is Powers Bluff. Can you explain? It sounds like there are ley lines there. Are you having what's the importance of this place? Are you having experiences there as well with other spirits?
Well, we could definitely feel the old ones. You could feel them. You might not see them, but you feel them lurking. It was actually an area that, was not destroyed by the glaciers. So, all of the tribes used to gather there for ceremony and kind of come together in peace and share their knowledge, and I'm sure share their, beads and furs and such, and have a dance. But there's a quartz crystal there that isn't found anywhere else. So you can feel the vibrational energy there for sure, as well as there's plant life that isn't found anymore. It's kind of ancient plant life. And I know you had said you had somebody else on the show about these ancient gardens. So it truly is a sacred place because, I think that those need to be preserved and preserved. And, there could be medicinal plants there and that's why they did come to get some of the medicine and the different plants there. And we're not totally, seasoned experts, but there are, the time we had heard about it is we were on a radio show out of Marshville and Stevens Point that had the Friends of Powers Bluff. So there is a foundation set up to preserve this sacred site. And that's what's wonderful. People are waking up, just like the other sacred site that you had posted on your wall, Frank's Hill, with the effigy mounds down in Muscadet, Wisconsin. It truly, and our friend Frank Shadowwald, that was the keeper of that, he's crossed over now. But when you go to this place, the Hochunk have told us, this is sacred. It's like Jerusalem, or it's like, Stonehenge. This needs to be preserved because it has so much history, and we got to put the pieces of the puzzle together to help us all right now. So it's when you come up to Wisconsin, we'll definitely take you there.
Okay. That sounds very, very intriguing. I'd like to go there. One of the guests Barbara has lined up later this winter is Glen Kriesberg, who is going to be talking about the stone chambers in New England and the Hudson River Valley. Do you have engineered structures like that in Wisconsin? I've never been there, so I'm trying to learn along with the audience who may not have been to Wisconsin as well. But are there stone structures at this site, or are there like ley line? Are you able to feel the earth energy at this place?
You definitely can feel the earth energy when you're there at Powers Bluff. There's also the area where the ceremonial grounds were, where the large white pines are still there as well. And if you look around, you can still see the marker trees, which is a tree that's been manipulated and bent so that it points out a sacred area. You can still find some of those in the area there. There's also grave sites there, and these grave sites were made above ground, which is kind of uncommon. And so it talks a little bit briefly about who is laid to rest there. But the effigy mounds at Frank's Hill and many of them around are also burial mounds. Some of them, not all of them. Some of the effigy mounds, have sacred items in them but no bodies. We have a friend, Richie Brown, who does some surveying with Dr. Jim Shears of those sites. Richie is Hochunk. And so Richie has helped to educate us in some of that as well. But there's another site down in southern Wisconsin, Aztalan, and underneath the lake there is said to be a pyramid. Is it Frank Joseph that has the book on Aztalan? And so, if there's anybody out there who wants to look more into that, Frank Joseph's book is out there on the Aztalan pyramid.
And that was featured on one of Scott Walter's episodes of his America Unearthed show. And he took a little submarine down the bottom of the lake.
Right. And Dr. Jim Shears has done a lot of research and surveying. To my knowledge, he was a professor at Madison, and
he's a sharp guy.
Yeah,
Dr. Shears is very sharp.
He has mapped out all the lane lines and structures and where the star charts are. He has done just extensive research, and we do have a few of his books. We're in a hotel room right now, so they're not on us. We don't have our material. We just never know where these interviews are going to go. We don't know if we're going to be talking about Nashville, where we work, or so it's just a plethora of, our hypnotherapy, past life regression work. We like the sampler platter. We like the buffet of spirituality, but what the site down in Muscadet at Franks Hill, all of the tribes have these stories and legends, and so they're all working together now to put the pieces of the puzzle together, as they say. And we all have a piece of the puzzle, is what our elders say. And for years they called there's a large woman on the mound, and kind of looks like she has wings. But then they started researching with Ralph Red Fox, a Cheyenne elder that we've done Sweat Lodge with. And he's quite sure, he's much older than the elders of the Hochunk. He's pretty sure it could be the Corn Woman mound. Now, many of the tribes have legend of Corn Woman bringing corn to the people to, save them from starving. There were muskox and different larger animals after the last ice age. But the story is very much like what White Buffalo Calf Woman, the Corn Woman, came from the sky to bring them the plant, the corn. And when you lay, you can't do this anymore, but back in the day we used to be able to because the elders told us to. When you lay on Corn Woman, it looks like she's pregnant. And for the different solstices and season and growing seasons, she gives birth to the sun, and then her head, the sun sets. But when the sun sets, there's another group of mounds, because you're up on this big hill in Wisconsin where these 360-degree hill, and you can see the aerial view on our website or there. But then there are other mounds that there's at least the 12 mounds that the sun sets on, so they knew what month of year it was. It's like a big calendar that she gave them the knowledge to do their planting of the seed that they had never had before. So it's just truly magical. As well as when Dawn and I first started getting into this crazy work really deep was in 1994 when a tornado went through, and I'll give you back to her. But another sacred site we have in Wisconsin is in Janesville, where we actually got our hypnotherapy training, and we were able to meet Miracle, the White Buffalo Calf Woman. A Sioux story, but the Hochunk have it as well. And I will I will pass you to Dawn for that story, because it truly starts on her farm.
Okay.
Oh, do I go then? Okay. All right. In 1994, on August 20th, Miracle was born in Janesville, Wisconsin, and she was born on the Hyder farm, which incidentally was the name that they used to call the people who would go out and skin the buffalo, were the Hyders. So that was kind of significant to many people, that it would be born on the property of a white family who surname then was Hyder. So she was born there, and she fulfilled the prophecies of the white buffalo calf woman of turning the four colors of man and woman. And so she fulfilled that prophecy. And Owen Mike was the chief of the Buffalo clan, the way I understood it at the time, who went down and was one of the first ones to go down to Miracle and deem her, part of that prophecy. Hundreds of thousands of people came to see Miracle, much like, the birth of Christ. It was quite similar to that in many stories, where people would come from all over the world to witness and to see and to bring her gifts. And my husband and I had gone down to see Miracle because she was born a week to the day before the tornado went through our property. There were 3 tornadoes coming directly at us. They came together as one and formed almost a mile-wide tornado, wiping out farm after farm around us. And so it was very devastating and very tragic, taking 2 lives. And so Miracle showed up on the television around the same time as all of the information on our tornado was going through. So we did make the pilgrimage then down to see her and to bring a gift. And in doing so, we were able to meet the grandfather who resided there, who I knew was very connected with spirit. He's crossed over now as well, but Miracle has since passed away. But Chief Arvel Looking Horse carries the pipe for the white buffalo calf woman. I believe he's the 19th carrier of that, and he received that when he was 12 years old. And the white buffalo calf woman prophecy brings about a time of change and great earth change and a great time of change for the people. So we're going to fast forward then many years, and Tamara and I ended up meeting Owen Mike, who was the Hochunk elder who had gone down to Miracle, and he ended up feathering us one evening and telling us a little bit more of the work we'd be doing alongside of him, and he's crossed over now as well. So,
well, the shaman and elders, because they've had the gift of generations of keeping their third eye open, right? They can see through the dimensions too. They communicate with spirit in ways beyond we can even wrap our mind around. But he had us get our cell phone out and say, videotape this. This is history. When we had told him and shared with him our knowledge, and he's a warrior. He was, he gifted us his book on the warriors and how the Hochunk deal with post-traumatic stress, and gave us a lot of spirit messages of how we come down here and Earth is like a playground. But when it was just like a blink of an eye, he's like, and then it was like he looked right through us and said, you're here, you're part of the prophecy. The women of the West, are going to change the planet is something the Dalai Lama has said too. But, and it's still unfolding. But, they say the women in America have more freedom and freedom of speech and more power than women anywhere in the world. But we are going to be of assistance to this great change this planet's going through. The elders have talked to us about where the last earth changes were. They pointed out the hills to us that they went into, that time stood still, and how, a wave of light swept through the planet, and then they came out to a new earth. And as a hypnotherapist, we put people under that speak of this as well. You never know what's going to come out when you put people under age regression or past life regression therapy. And if you look at the work of Dolores Cannon, it truly matches up with all the Hochunk. And Dolores Cannon is very similar to our hypnotherapy instructor that's crossed over, Charlene Ackerman. She was a crystal skull carrier. So, I mean, the old ones are back, and they recognize, the elders recognize that we're here to help and assist the intuitive women that are like the shaman of the past. You know, people are waking up to their divine intuition.
Tara, since you just brought up the prophecies, is there a similarity or a difference with the Mayan prophecy? The most notable one was the December 21st, 2012 one. But is there something in that has been prophesized for sometime soon and early 2019, something like that, in like the Hochunk culture that is really done a lot to bring you into their family?
Well, Owen Mike, also known as Spirit Vision, is Hochunk, but the tribes of the Dakotas and the Hochunk, they've all shared the same knowledge. They share it over from one tribe to another, and they can point. They've been looking through the medicine wheels to where Spirit dropped them off. The Hochunk can point to the star system that they came from. They have that in their oral history, which as the oral history is spoken verbatim. They have to learn the medicine and the stories verbatim in Sweat Lodge. It's not like the Bible or anything that it can be taken out. Excuse me, but yes, very, very similar, working with the Mayans as well. We were actually at that prophesized ceremony down in Baraboo, Wisconsin, where our friend the Eagle King, who has gifted us with so much of this knowledge of the thinning of the veils, of the times that we're in right now, he felt very, strongly to get this message out that we're going through a time of great change. But in the prophecy is the Eagle King, which is our friend Preston Thompson. That was his American white given name. Jajump was his Eagle King was his name. But it was there that the Eagle King and the Condor King from the South would meet and share knowledge. So yes, we were at that ceremony in Wisconsin in 2012. And that is, they say, the beginning of a new age. So we're just, we're just getting into this new energy. And I don't think we've ever been here before. And I think we're all waking up to know that it doesn't feel the same as it did before, does it?
No. And I hope, the difference in feeling is more related to something positive just down the road.
Right. And one of the things that we did at that ceremony was we held the seeds to our hearts, and we put our prayers and our intentions into those seeds, and then we spread the seeds into the sacred fire. And that's what we're doing. That's what we're doing with shows like this with you and Barbara. We're spreading our knowledge. We're spreading our seeds, and this is our interpretation of what these ceremonies were and what these were meant to be. Everybody took away their own piece of that puzzle. And so as they all walked away with, hopefully a little more light in their hearts, and hopefully a little more of the vision being revealed to them as to what their job and what their mission is on this earth plane. And then you turn around and you're right back to doing your laundry and mopping the floors and all of those things. So, we can take these moments in time and we can hold on to them and we can view them as being sacred moments, but every moment of our life is sacred. And, as Tamara was talking about with the Dalai Lama, such a sense of humor, and Preston Thompson knew him and told the stories of him. And so here's these sacred men still just goofing around and joking around. So, we're living on this earth plane together, and
we're all spiritual. We're
right.
all there's no hierarchy, as John would tell. We're all at different stages and advancement in our soul's development. But what the dead tell us is, you know, there's no time. It just seems like it while we're having a human experience. But it truly is like a blink of an eye once you're back. So, but the thing is, we are here to be divine creators of our reality. And that's what the Hochunk, you know, when we do Sweat Lodge, we don't say, God, please, you know, can you give us this or can you do that? We can create with our collective prayers and our hearts and our voices what it is we'd like to see. And what they've really taught us and going to these sacred sites is Mama Earth has a heartbeat. And there are places where you can feel her heartbeat more. They would go to these sacred sites to pray because the quantum energy was strong there, right? So our thoughts are things, and we are divine creators. They say that we are a spark of creator. So we have the same gifts of you know, God, creator, whatever you want to call it. In science, they call it quantum physics, right? Where it's like the thoughts you think create your reality. So in a collective, we can create a new world, and we can give our heart energy and love energy to these sacred sites. And many people are being called now to go on pilgrimages to these sacred sites because it's, you know, the web is spreading this information out, so people are waking up. And we are all those points of light all over the globe.
And we were also told, you know, the Sweat Lodge we were in was Northern Cheyenne with Ralph Red Fox, and so he brought us in, and we had our sweat there with him. Part of the Hochunk tradition is that we would not have been in a lodge with them, with the elders there. And, you know, again, we're certainly not experts, but we've been blessed to know a little piece of their knowledge, just a fragment or two. But as Preston said, you know, so many of his people still hadn't woke up, and they were working on it, you know, little by little. So we were part of that, and so we feel very blessed and honored to be a part of it. Certainly not experts, but a part of it, and we're certainly constantly having downloads, if you will, of that knowledge being brought to us. So when things come through for us to tell others, we know too that that's Preston and Owen, Mike, and John, and Rex, and many of the elders coming through for us who have assisted us and helped us, because none of this was in our culture, you know. We can match up and pair up some of the information with our Christian background, but, you know, the gift of prophecy and different things is talked about in the Bible, most definitely, but it was always kind of a back then, not a right now philosophy.
Are you guys familiar with the earthing movement that's been going on lately?
Share it with us.
Earthing. It has to do with the fact that we have separated ourselves from the Earth Mother so much with concrete and asphalt and wood. And the theory is that if we go barefoot for at least 10 or 15 minutes a day, we can reattach ourselves to the heartbeat of the Earth Mother. And once that happens, it has a way of taking away inflammation from our bodies if we give it a chance.
Right. Oh, absolutely. Not only, you know, under the earth, you know, there's aquifers. And if you're familiar with Dr. Emoto's work on water, thought, and frequency, what we've been told to do when we go to the lakes and the rivers and the streams, we pray, we send our love and our high frequency to these waters, because, yes, they have held a lot of negative energy from war and from anger and from, you know, a lot that's happened, a lot of, you know, war and strife. So that is a global message. And because we are coming into a time of more balance, you know, we all have masculine and feminine energy within us. But we are all to give our love and gratitude to the earth, and she'll heal us. You know, she takes care of us on all ways, and I think that's what we've disconnected from. We don't realize we are part of her. She is our, they call her mother because she nurtures us. She feeds us. She, gives us a wonderful earth experience. And they say that the earth is flipped, 14 times because we just couldn't figure it out. Our egos, our human sense of self, our human sense of self just, for the most part, people are good, but I don't think we've ever been here before.
and we've been calling it plugging in. We didn't know other people were doing it. We were just doing it because we were told to from Spirit. So we'd say, oh, we just got to plug in, and we'd go out and spend some time outside. So it's great that it actually has a name now.
Right.
There have been for at least 4 or 5 mass destruction, series that we've been through and gone back to starting from single cells again. So, if the Earth gets tired of us and says, no, you're on the wrong track, let's go back to square one.
Right. Well, and it's always changing, right? I mean, it's hard for us to wrap our minds around what's happening in time and reality. But, a lot of people that are getting the prophecy under hypnosis, talking about this new earth concept, there will be a split this time where there will be 2 earths. One that people choose to be in the frequency of low vibration. They'll go through their, I believe very much like it has been in our Bible prophecy of Sodom and Gomorrah, of like, don't look back, don't look at fear. Just we're trying to evolve here, right? So we want to be in the highest frequency of love and light and letting go. What if everybody was psychic? That's what's happening right now. What if everybody was empathic and everything you did to others, you'd have to feel and experience yourself? What if everybody could read your mind? What if everybody had the gift of prophecy? What a different world it would be, right? So I believe, because we've had this so long, there are people waking up, like I said, like popcorn every day, meditation, cleaner food, doing things that raise your frequency, very much like we work down at Nashville, Colon Care and Wellness, Wellsville, as well. We satellite down there, and the sweat lodge, the infrared saunas, the sweat lodge. These are ancient things that help purify us. So these frequencies and these light codes and these upgrades can truly help us, they say, activate us and activate our third eye so we can really, truly hear spirit. And it's like a radio station, right? You gotta make the channel clear.
And as Preston said, we can either open up and wake up, or, the earth will continue. It's up to us whether we want to continue. So, the earth will just shake us off. So,
is music playing a role in this as well?
Pardon me?
Is music incorporated into the frequencies you're talking about, the vibrations?
I definitely believe it is. And we have a few musician friends who are really looking into that more and messing around with the hertz versus healing. Brian Beskey is a dear friend of ours who has been working with music therapy, and we have a nephew who has autism, and so we're going to be talking with Brian a little more about assisting him with that. And so I think that's a new avenue that's just waking up, and yet we have a gentleman from the UK who has space sounds in his music, sounds from outer space, and so he's allowing us to use some of that in our hypnotherapy as well. So that's just we're just opening up to that. So.
Yeah, well, the solfeggio music has been around for a long time, and people are just now beginning to understand the different hertz levels and what they apply to and how they can use them.
Right. So yeah, we have Valhalla Haven of Healing. So that's our office, the name of our office, and so we're always looking for new forms of healing, new forms of understanding, and when we think we've heard it all, something else comes in.
Always the way.
Right.
Well, and working with our Mayan friends, they don't believe that there's any coincidence that the heartbeat of music is Music City, right? When you go there, that portal, it's very creative. It's very vibrational. A lot of people go there for healing. And so I think it truly, you can feel the difference. And Dr. Emoto's work that he did with music, too. Music has a frequency, and he would play like classical with the tones, because each tone, resonates in the body at a different vibration, right? Each chakra system. So he would play like a classical music, and then he'd play, and he'd take pictures of the water crystals, and they'd be beautiful, like Mozart, and all this channeled, beautiful, divine music. And the spirit world has definitely shown us that there is definitely music in heaven, right? But then he'd play like death metal, and that same water crystal would be like polluted and shattered and mutated. So we definitely can feel that frequency within our body. And as Reiki masters too, we always play toning music while we're giving Reiki treatments and energy treatments. But you can definitely feel the vibrations going through your hands when we're giving Reiki, and when it's in the room. You can feel where it is in your note. Just like, when somebody pulls up and is playing bass music, you can feel that in your root chakra. The Native Americans knew this in their dance and their music, and with their drumming. It would connect you with the earth, the heartbeat of the earth, with the balancing out. Even the dancing they do, the hop, pop, balances out the meridians in the brain. So these ancient cultures knew how to stay in balance, knew how to, get healing and vibrational energy through their body, through music, through sound, through dance. So it's just been, I think it's just really fascinating.
No, it is.
This
Mark.
is only, I was just going to interject that this is only our fourth show. Fortunately, we aren't already repeating guests, but this is just the first time you've been on with Barbara and me. Hopefully, we can do this many more times. But I just think you conveyed, just some really great messages as Barbara and I get started. I think this is what we're trying to develop, is something thought-provoking, something wholesome, and I'm just very glad that you've, we've been able to, as Barbara and I get to know you and the audience gets to know you, it's just been a very enlightening discussion, as we've kind of taken just a few comments from other, the three previous shows, and you've developed them even more. And I think we're all just getting something out of what both of you have contributed to the discussion.
Well, thank you. Thank you.
You guys are awesome. And
I prophesize that this show goes on and on and on and on.
Well, this show has been going on and on and on for 10 years, so I don't see it stopping anytime soon. We do have a couple of people that have called in for readings, and I know you guys said that you'd be okay with doing them. Mark, if that's okay, we got these two. One lady's been sitting here for almost an hour.
Okay. Let's get to her then. Let's do some readings and.
Okay, we've got just a couple people, and then we can go back and talk a little bit more. Okay.
Wonderful.
Let's do that.
Okay.
Wonderful.
Okay, Carol. Hi, Carol.
Hi.
Are you awake still?
Oh yes, I'm intrigued, and I do want to make one comment, if I could, really quickly, before I get my
Carol.
You were talking about music, and music is really something very personal to me, and I was fortunate to put a few rock concerts on and a few music festivals throughout my time here in northern Wisconsin, and I just want to go back to saying that music is the one thing that connects everybody in the world. It doesn't have to be the same language, but the music itself can connect everybody in the whole world, always. And
Absolutely.
I truly believe that. And while you were talking about that, it popped into my head the old Coke commercial. Remember?
Yeah.
Yeah, like to teach the world to sing.
One of the words creates harmony. And it creates harmony throughout the whole world. And it was like one of the best commercials ever on TV because it was everybody from every walk of life and from every scope of the world. Was in that
Do you know
commercial.
who wrote it?
No, I don't.
Barry Manilow.
Oh, I did know that. Right. I just wanted to point that out because you guys were talking about, does music have a vibration, blah, blah. Yeah, no kidding. It's the very first people on Earth had music,
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
So I just wanted to point that out because whether it's in the same language or not, the actual music itself, and actually I just watched August Rush tonight, which was ironic that this would even come up. I just finished watching it before I called in. What a great way to feel the vibrations. I mean, everything has rhythm, from the grass blowing in the wind to the trees, which I'm listening to outside my window right now in the storm, to the raindrops, it all has a rhythm. And it doesn't always have to be actual physical music, but everything in the world has rhythm. And if you stop and listen, it creates harmony. And I'm so lucky to live where I live because you're talking about the concrete world that you live in. I get to live on a lake and in the woods, and I get that energy from the water and the trees. I'm able to hike and I hunt, and I'm out in the woods and I'm hugging trees every day. And you want to hear the heartbeat of Mother Nature, hug a tree every day for 10 minutes. You know what? You're going to feel a lot better about yourself.
That's
Absolutely.
true.
That's what I to say.
I like Carol's idea about music unites the world more than math.
Oh, yeah.
Music, isn't it?
Music is math. Really, music really is math with it toning, and I mean the whole universe is math. Nikola Tesla said, if you knew the power of 3, 6, and 9, you'd have the secrets to the universe, right? And Carol's right, with music connecting us all over, and I think that's why Spirit brought us AC/DC, because our friend Susan that you've had on your show, Mark.
A few times.
She's been brought over to Serbia. She's brought over the Italian government. Brought her over as an ambassador for AC/DC for tourism because, you get over to Europe and yes, they're big in the States for sure, but you go to Italy, and here's all these Italian speaking, or in Serbia, our friends Band X from Serbia that had we've conversed with them as well. They're a AC/DC cover band, but they speak Serbian, and folk music is popular in Serbia, so rock music is just getting over to Serbia. But yeah, they don't even know the language, but they are singing it. and it sounds just like AC/DC, even though they might not even know what the words mean, which I think is truly fascinating because there's obviously something beyond words in their music.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah. Oh, okay, Carol, do you have a question?
You know what? I know that these girls are pretty psychic, so I'm just going to let them tell me what's happening in my world. And what can I look forward to?
Well, I've already I pulled some cards for you, Carol. And
Yay.
you are truly starting to step in your power. You are a high priestess. You are another us. You're another mystic sister, as you know. But Spirit really wants you working on your independence, just your true joy wherever you are. But the good thing is here, right by that independence, when you truly love thyself, what's right next to you here is true love, Guinevere, and also guiding children. You're incredibly good with educating young people about, our universe, as a public speaker, as, about the music, about the message. You have a wonderful ability to be a teacher to the youth.
Thanks. I hope I am. I have a 17-year-old. I'm trying to get him to college, so.
Well, get him off
Hope
to
he's
college,
listening.
Well,
Carol,
go ahead.
Yeah.
Oh, I was just going to ask Carol, what does your son want to study in college?
He's actually going to go for golf management to UW Stout, and which is ironically close to where some of these sacred grounds are going to be.
Right.
Yeah, down in Menominee. Our father actually retired from University Stout. So it's funny that he'd be going there. But there is a sacred site. So many of these sacred sites, and I'll get back to your reading here in a minute, Carol, because some stuff is coming in. I'm just telling them to wait. But one of the sacred sites, many of these sacred sites, they put devil in the front of, if you have ever noticed, Devil's Tower, Devil's Lake, but there's one called Devil's Punch Bowl in Menominee that your son will have to go check out. But several people have seen gnomes, seen little gnomes, 3 foot high with the red hat. So you don't have to go to Ireland to see these little people. You can see them right there in and the creature sightings, the gnome sightings. There's just said to be that Wisconsin has more paranormal activity than any state in the country. And I think it is because of these ley lines and these copper beds. And I know as up in the North Woods, we know from our Hochunk, there's huge copper deposits. Well, you mix copper, you mix water, you mix that limestone. It is a very, very sacred place that you live up there.
Well, for hundreds of years, they made money on the copper mines up here.
Right. And you can find out more of that story in Chad Lewis's book, Chad and Terry Fifth, of Unexplained Research, Wisconsin, The Road Guide to Wisconsin, Haunted Location. So it has that story in it.
Oh,
too.
the Devil's Punch Bowl, yeah.
Punch Bowl. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And
so,
just to link in what Carol just said, I need to make another shameless plug for the Ancient Artifact Preservation Society conference coming up this weekend in Harris, Michigan.
Oh, God, I love Harris, Michigan. That's
it's at the
Island Casino?
Yep, that's it.
I love it. Best music venue ever.
I believe Richie and Jim Shears have spoke up there as well on the copper deposit.
Yeah, that is this weekend, October 5th through Sunday, October 7th.
Oh my gosh! You know what I just thought of? This is so weird. Okay, a year ago, just about this year, I found a dead guy on the side of the road up in Bergland or Rockland, Michigan, And guess what his job title was? He was the new copper mine supervisor, head of the copper mine. And he had a heart attack, and I happened to come upon him on the road, and I found him. How weird is that?
Oh, my goodness.
Well, that's who's standing next to me then. Oh, well. Well, that's interesting.
Worked for the copper mines. He was just hired like 2 weeks prior. And now here we're talking about the conference and everything else. That's weird.
Well, that's what happens when the Mystic Sisters are here. We're going through a great, great time of purification, and I am feeling somebody standing next to me, so that could be him, and I feel like he got that through. Just kind of take that note. See, it's all interconnected. There's no coincidence in that, Carol, but I did want to share with you, I know we've kind of been very ADD with this reading, but I'm really getting the download that keep the faith and expect miracles. You've been doing good work, and I know it feels like, you're kind of getting impatient with God delivering true love to you and more balance, but just be open to receive everyday miracles. Keep your heart open, because there's going to be some magic coming very soon in your life. I am feeling travel, so just put that. I'm feeling like it is out west in the western part of the country. So just be aware that travel is coming in your near future. So you don't have to be in the north.
I hope it's on that train. I hope it's on that train that you can drink beer and see Colorado. Because I just noticed I want to make it back.
Carol, if that's what you want to do.
Do you think I'm going to live on the train?
Well, it is out west, so just be open to receive that. Oh my goodness. God bless Wisconsin. That's our Wisconsin. I hope more Wisconsinites call in, because they're easy to read. They're easy to read. No.
Hey, and
definitely look.
How about our brewers going to Colorado? That's got to be science.
That is exciting. I love your accent from the Northwoods. It's cute. It's, even though you're 3-4 hours away from us, you guys really, a lot of people think we're Canadian, but you definitely have that Yooper. I love it, Carol. Well, you'll definitely go out to Colorado, all in good time. I do feel like it's. Yep, keep manifesting. Keep it in your visualizations. We always tell people, if you have something that you're feeling called to a sacred place in Colorado, definitely being one of them, just set your intention, and before you know it, you'll be there. It's happened with Dawnette and I, just the strangest places where we feel called, and before you know it, we're there. And we never have to know how we're going to get there or why. But before you know it, if the signs start rolling in of like, am I going to do this? There's a good chance that yes, you will. Like I said, Dawn and I will get a sense of where we're going, and we'll start receiving little signs in email, or somebody will start talking about it. And that's just a good indication it's coming closer and closer, and not to freak out about it, not to get impatient about it. And it might not be immediately. But, and that's the thing, patience is a virtue, right? But before you know it, there you are.
That is not my biggest virtue, for you.
What's that?
Patience is not my biggest virtue.
Yeah, that's where meditation and just learning to let it go. We're all having to really be patient. I'm not an astrologer, but our astrologer friends have talked about, how we have been hammered the last 5 months with many, the Hochunk people have their star charts too. So the ancient ones knew that the stars, as well as the Mayans, knew that everything has a cycle and a rhythm and a season. And they're all saying we've never been here before, but it looks very similar to, times in the past that we've went vacation and soul advancement, to get to this, to get to the next step up the Mayan pyramid, of consciousness. So I mean, yeah, we just keep getting better and better. And patience is a virtue when we believe in time.
I've had a pretty awesome life already, so I can't imagine it's going to get any worse.
What's that?
I said I've had a pretty awesome life already, so I can't imagine it'll get any worse.
No, gratitude is the key because, we're having a human experience. And gratitude and keeping your heart open, the Hopi's one prayer is just thank you. Because they know they don't pray for rain like it's not going to come. They go out, the natives, they go out and imagine it raining. So imagine yourself, use that visualization from your heart of what it would feel like sitting on the beer train in Colorado. What love and joy would you bring to Colorado, right? So, set your intentions.
Carol, is being on Nightlight the highlight of your life?
It is. I think I might become a radio personality now. I might call it all the time.
The Carol
Second thought, I call it all the time.
Oh my gosh.
You have
You're
a co-host, a third party there.
Well, thank you so much for your contribution. Good luck with your son at Scout. And
thank you.
I mean, I love these cards though. I mean, these are just a very positive cards. They're telling I love any time the true love card comes in. I'm a Taurus. I'm heart ruled, and a lot of people know. There's a lot of divorce around 10 years ago on the planet, right? Because what the astrologers say is that was the end of a timeline, and we're coming into a new one. So, relationships are really under the spotlight right now. So we love and we learn from each wonderful relationship. But to bring more love into the planet, I think everybody needs to get along. And I think everybody wants more love and relationship and harmony.
That is true, not only with a significant other, but within our own immediate families, too. So.
Oh, absolutely. Yep. And the independent card is here, too. So it's always one of those things that I don't think relationships are ever going to look the same again on this planet because they're not going to be codependent, right? They're not going to be codependent because we are all self-sovereign beings and we allow without guilt, blame, or shame for everybody to grow and advance and be where they need to be, where they're called to be. That brings more joy and love in their life, right? So there is no separation. There is no separation, even if somebody's far away. They're right here in our hearts always.
You don't have anything from my mom, do you?
Oh, sweet Carol. Oh, sweet Carol. I see her sitting right next to your dad knitting and just like rocking back and forth. You feel like you have to be her, but you can be the daughter sometimes too. And it's okay. It's okay. I'm really feeling like you've really, really been missing her lately too, haven't you? She's showing me you in the fetal position. Just, imagine, just ask for her to wrap around you. Feel her wrap around you if you're having one of those hard days where you just are exhausted. Mothers love to come and wrap their love and her energy around you. Really, when I got the Mother Mary card, it's very much with the Divine Feminine and the Divine Mother. So just when you need that balance and grace.
That was my mom's name, Mary.
Well, the Mother Mary card would make sense now, wouldn't it? And she's the one that's going to be bringing you miracles. So really, with each decision you make, it's okay to ask. Ask your higher self. Ask Mom. Don't forget you can ask, but it's easier to ask when you lay on your side and she can put her arms around you. And she's going to be doing a lot of healing while you sleep with you in the near future too. And she's continuously gives you showers you with love and God's grace. And I just feel, holding a rose quartz up to your heart will just keep your heart open and pure and full of love. But she's also showing me, do yellow roses make sense to you with her?
No, not with her, but with my grandma.
Oh, well, is that her mother?
No, it would be my dad's mom.
Okay, because I'm seeing the yellow roses. So the grandmas, mothers, and the feminine energy is very much around here. So remember, you can talk to all the ancestors at any time. And I'm definitely feeling a lot of feminine energy in a very masculine house, okay? So know that you are, you have backup, even though sometimes it only feels like it's just like you against the men. You have backup, but pray and ask for that. In meditation, they will give you, I feel like they've also been trying to come through in dream time with you. So just be open to receive. And you can even ask before dream time to have them weave. We call it dream weaving. Even if they don't show up physically, you can ask a prayer to have them, ask and believe and you shall receive. And it might not come right away, but you can ask them to show up in your dream time, and they will. It might not be right away, but they will. And give you one of those visits so you can really feel like they were really, really there.
That would be great.
And she also she's giving you an eagle feather, and I know we got to wrap this up. So thank you so much. She gives you the eagle feather.
High.
What's that?
Thanks, Carol.
Ladies, keep the vibration high, and it was great to talk to you. Thank you.
Thanks
you.
for calling.
Have a great night,
Thank you.
Carol.
Okay.
I think we went up for 7 minutes.
Yeah, but we don't have a long line, so we can do that. Next one is Jeannie. Jeannie, you're on the air.
Hi, how are you ladies doing?
Excellent.
Excellent. It sounds like it.
We're having fun. This is our first time with Mark and Barbara, and that Carol, she was sure chatty, wasn't she?
She was. Absolutely. I enjoyed
love,
listening to her reading.
She was spot on, wasn't she? Isn't she another mystic sister?
Yeah.
And so
well,
are
you guys.
Is it Jeannie?
Yes.
Wow.
Jean or Jeannie,
okay, well,
whatever comes through.
Okay, well, and I will definitely ask Barbara or Dawnette to chime in. But ask your question, Jeannie, and let's tune in for you.
Well, she was Carol was talking about her kids going to college. Well, my third boy is just finishing college, so I'm kind of lost at trying to find my own creative outlet. I've done nothing but kids since I was 19 years old, and I kind of just can't find another direction for myself.
Right, and that happens to so many of us, that empty nest syndrome. But then who are we? Because we've been mothers for, so many years that's our role, and all of a sudden we're taken out of it. And I've been watching that sitcom, The Goldbergs, and I love the mother on that because it's just so fitting and so me. I'm
familiar with that show.
How her children, she wants to keep them dependent on her so that she has a role and a job in life, So, but, being a grandmother's fun too, and they come back. They really do, because there's going to come a time where they need you. But the High Priestess card came up in the cards that Tamara drew for you, and that's definitely what this time is for you to be that High Priestess, to be that matriarch of the family, to pull yourself up and remember who you are. They tell us many times to go back to the age where we felt the strongest, which was maybe like 11, 12, 13 years old, before we really got so intermingled into all our hormones and all of that good stuff. But to remember who we were when we were brought to this planet and brought here to have this little mission. And, and then boys come into the world and our scope. families, and then we forget who we are because we're just busy doing the day-to-days. But we're still there. You know, we're still continuing to do the work of Creator. So, you know, our home, our hearth is our heart. You know, our heart and our hearth are one and the same. So what we've created in our homes is what we hold in our hearts and will continue to hold in our hearts. So that's the job that was it Jackie Onassis that said, if I fail with my children, then I failed at life, something of that nature. And that's true, you know, that was your job. So stepping into your role as the high priestess now, and taking that love of family and stepping forward is your mission right now. And this is the cycles and rhythms of your life. You know, it's a time of purification. It's a time of purifying your home and purifying your thoughts. Meditation would be something that would be very helpful for you right now. There's so many great YouTubes out there now that you can tap in just about for anything you can imagine. And it does help to ground and center us, and helps to give us that vision that maybe we're too busy during the daytime hours to collect our our marbles.
Yeah, not a lot of time for a lot of things.
Right. So, you know, if we can take that 15, 20 minutes and meditate, a lot will come in for you in that short period of time. And then what we know, Tamara and I, from hypnosis, meditation expands. You know, the more we do it, the more we expand on it, the more will come in and the quicker it comes in. So the more you do it, the better you'll
I understand that completely.
Awesome.
I feel your pain. I'm an empty nester too. So I understand. I had to, being a hypnotherapist, I literally had to make myself a self-hypnosis to let myself know that I've taught them all I can, and and to remind myself of how free and old and wise I felt at that age, right? I mean, it's okay that they don't want, you know, that they don't want to be around us as much, you know, and it was very hard on my heart because my whole life was making their life perfect as I could, protecting them, you know, making sure they had everything. So there was a tremendous void, right? There's a tremendous, like, well, now what? You know? So, you know, we have to learn to, you know, there is something about, you know, you're kind of rediscovering yourself. It's a new cycle and a new rhythm of your life. So, yes, you're going to take the good with it, but this is, honey, you've got freedom, you know. You have freedom you don't even know what to do with. So why not open your heart to expand on these creative endeavors? I am seeing that doing some house remodel is in even just changing it up so it looks different. And there might be some tears with it, you know, when you're painting over, you know, some of the colors and stuff, but make it uniquely yours, and that's going to be a tremendous healing. So you're not looking in their room, you know, singing memories like the corners of my mind, you know. It's like embrace the good in this new cycle and rhythm. Let them know that they,
absolutely,
yes, the house is still here and your favorite snacks will be here, but, you know, your bedroom might be my meditation room now. And, you know, so, I mean, it's okay to take your house back. It's, you know, and you know, kids want you to keep everything the same. And yes, you'll keep, you know, perhaps the salt shaker. Ask them what they don't want changed and then work on that with them. But I do see, like, recreating your house is going to open the right side of your brain again to create, and that's very meditative, right? It's like you can listen to your higher self and your angels and your intuition when you do that. And I do feel, is your mother crossed over?
No.
Okay. I am feeling a feminine energy, so it may be a grandmother. But I am feeling like, was she a cross-stitcher?
No, my sister-in-law was a cross stitcher, and
okay. What I'm seeing is home. Okay, what I'm seeing is home sweet home, cross stitch home sweet home. So I whatever that is, I am feeling like she feels kind of motherly to you. I don't know why I'm feeling mother, but she's showing me cross stitching. So getting getting some of those old crafts, some of those is very meditative, right? And starting to have things that you can connect with the spirit realm, because you definitely are a mystic sister as well. You're highly intuitive. Once you start learning more about that, you're going to see that you have a lot of love and a lot of gifts to give to the planet that, that are you, not mom, not wife, not daughter, but your authentic self that you came here to be.
And one of the things that a dear friend asked me one time was, I was about 49, 50 years old, and at that time, and he said, "What are you going to do with the other half of your life?" And it really left me thinking, wow, he's right. Our life expectancy is, it's well over 100 at this point. So, yeah, I've got another half of my life to think about.
You're just getting started. You're just getting started. So, and we, on the planet, living your joy. Have you seen the movie The Secret, Jeannie?
Yes, I have.
So, your guidance team
I'm very familiar with it.
Yeah. It's time to put some new things on your vision board, right? New places to expand upon. That's kind of a fun tool to really start using your intuition. To really start opening it and expanding, because this is what we have found, Dawn and I've made many, many vision boards. We always say, for what comes first, the vision board, the chicken or the egg, the vision board or the manifestation. We truly believe that we already know to some certain degree what we're going to put on our vision board of potential realities. And it might not be delivered exactly how we think it is, but it will be delivered. But, taking action towards those dreams, because I am seeing some international travel for you. I think your prosperity is also going to be growing beyond. And
I'll take it.
You are definitely an incredible saleswoman. So pretty much you're great at, you're a great counselor, but you're a great saleswoman. You can sell, what do they say, white gloves to, a man eating a banana popsicle or a ketchup popsicle. There's a little Chris Farley humor there too. But, you are a really incredible saleswoman. And I mean, this sounds like a pitch, but have you gotten into the essential oils at all?
Oh, I have. Yeah, I have a set of my favorites that I use.
Okay, well, look into that. And see, I don't even sell them, but my sister does. But I really am seeing you selling some high vibrational, doing some marketing, and really having your own money is really, really important to you, to expand upon that, because you just want to get away. You just want to travel. And you'll settle into this freedom before you know it. So, anyway, thank you so much for calling in. I'm excited.
Thank you. I appreciate it. I have enjoyed you ladies immensely.
We do have to move on. We have another caller.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Jeannie.
Thank you.
Good luck.
Thanks, Jeannie.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Okay. Hi, 530-720. You're on the air.
Hi, ladies.
Hello there.
Hey, I was wondering if you could take a look into my finances.
Into your finances. I like these. Well, right away, it's bright future, and infinite supply.
Nice.
We are definitely all having to look at our finances right now, right? And it's money's energy too. It's what we have gratitude for, we get more of. And just when we think that, just when we think Creator doesn't have a solution, boom, there it is. meditation is a very important tool for that. Visualize prosperity coming in and then take action, right? But it will come in exactly the time you need it. I am feeling a little bit of, and go to a sacred place and put your prayer and intention. Visualize you having abundant life. We had just talked about the movie The Secret. It's a great starter tool for visualizing, not just visualizing stacks of money, but visualizing what your experience would be if you had financial freedom, right? Visualize and feel what it would feel. Imagine what kind of lifestyle you would have doing certain things if you had all the prosperity of the world. I am feeling a relationship issue kind of made you not necessarily feel your worth, but you're getting over that. As your heart heals, you're going to be expanding and realizing that the world is going to definitely take care of you and expand upon. Once you get the hang of this, I feel like a snowball at the top of a mountain. Once you get in the hang of this prosperity thing, you are just going, before you know it, it's going to be rolling faster down the hill, and it's going to be a big boulder. So just be aware that it's coming. Keep the faith. Keep taking action. Meditate on and even observe. Never be afraid to ask, letting go of ego. Sometimes we have to, be humble and humble ourselves, but definitely I'm seeing a lot of expansion here. Being bold and being bold and courageous and taking some new leaps of faith. When we are growing financially, and I can tell you, I'm a divorced woman, and I'm starting all over again as well. And I've been able to experience so many times that, just when you think it's never going to show up, it comes in ways you could never make, you could never imagine. But so I am just an advocate of keeping the faith and listening to spirit. Dawn and I make good money now, we're nationally known, and we do international readings, and have 2 wonderful locations that we work out of, throughout the year. And we couldn't do that if we didn't listen to spirit and trust and know what is available to us. And, doing this work for 20 years in a small town, being this my primary job, it is, even though more and more mystics are waking up all around the planet, there's more than enough to go around. There will never be enough intuitive readers. Dawnette and I teach and train people how to channel this high vibrational message and tune in. But I am just seeing you're really good with your money, honey. You are really good with your money. And when you have gratitude for it, and I am seeing, there's a manifesting money technique, and they're showing me this, of putting $100 bill in your wallet. And we call it seed money, right? And every time you see that $100 bill, you have gratitude, because you need to know that it's always there. It's very metaphoric, but it's like a magnet. You keep telling yourself, I keep attracting money. As a hypnotherapist, you have to watch your words and if they are skin of lack. So I feel like this is a generational family thing of there's never enough money, or where does all the money go? Start shifting your vibrational, because words have vibration, as we said. Start speaking of wealth. Speaking of it, I keep showered. I keep attracting money. I keep, finding money. Keep, tell the universe what you want, even if it feels like an illusion. Put your debt on hold. That's right over there. Quit looking at debt. Look at prosperity. Okay? It's truly getting to pivot. And staying in a high vibrational place with your heart open to love has a lot to do with that as well. So it's wherever you want to put your focus. And that is an ancient teaching that truly has been kept from us. If you've seen the beginning of that movie, but the sacred knowledge is back, right? And with the faith of a mustard seed, you can move mountains. Our Hochunk friend Richie said, it's just as easy to ask for $1 million as it is 100. And it's true. It's true. You can ask for a button or a castle. And we're all learning. We're all students in this, right? So learning from, master classes and master people that have mastered it, you want to ask them, and sometimes it can be uncomfortable when we're shedding old loving belief systems from our family dynamic of our ancestors, right? But the ancestors are really around us now to show us that that's an old, outdated belief, from the Depression. Sisters, our grandparents had the Depression, but they want to help us with our prosperity now. They want to help remind us that that's just an illusion. There's billionaires being made every day, so there's no lack. There is no lack. It's just if that's what you want. It's just truly what. Sometimes there's money blocks, but actually, as we speak of this right now, my hands are heating up, and I am sending you a clearing to clear those false beliefs that there isn't enough within you. Clear those blocks of wealth, so you'll probably start seeing right after this, and I'd love to hear a testimonial of this, but they're really wanting me to clear your frequency of false belief that there isn't enough and bring in it's an abundant universe, okay? So let me know the magic and miracles that come into all of our lives. Spirit just had me download that into all of our lives with miracles and magic. It's going to seem like miracles and magic, but they are showering in the portal right now. So blessings. Looking forward to hearing from you.
I appreciate that. That was amazing. Thanks.
You're welcome.
Well, thanks so much for calling in.
Thanks, Barbara.
Okay, we are clear.
You never know what's going to come through.
Do we have any more callers?
Nope, we're done.
We're done. Yay. What time are we at here?
Cleared the board.
We cleared the board. Well, it's always fun doing readings. No, it's and I'll pass it. Dawn's taking some notes here. She's getting ready. But, when you're giving a reading like that, and, as I sit here, I'm a channel. So I'm sitting here with, as you know, Barbara, how it comes in. My eyes flickering and fluttering, and all of a sudden your voice starts to change, and spirit comes through. And I could feel this portal open up of love and grace and divine prosperity for anyone who's listening here today. Energy is a frequency, and I just totally – do you guys feel it, or is it just me?
No,
it's not a hot flash.
No, I felt a calming feeling just listening to you talk about good things happening for the callers.
And that's just it. We've been told in many different forms that there's two emotions in the world, love or fear, and everything fits into that. And so oftentimes our fear of money almost blocks it from coming to us. Our fear of abundance blocks it from coming to us. And so by just opening up our hearts and getting into that relaxed state, you're exactly right. That's how we allow it to come to us. We allow it to flood in, is by releasing that fear around it, releasing that block around it, and just opening our hearts to whatever Creator has. And I've had feast and I've had famine, and sometimes in that famine time is when I get the most creative. That's when I find ways around some of the issues that create themselves. How to make, as our mother always said, a silk purse out of a sow's ear. We can sometimes do that when we just release that fear around it and call on our creative side, on our muse. Which brings us to, we have 2 CDs to give away as well. So I'm not sure if you have a way to do that, or if you would like us to give those to the callers that called in for the readings, or
I don't have any way of doing that, but
okay.
But why don't you give them to the next 2 people that need them instead?
That's a beautiful way, and they've opened their hearts already, and those CDs will be coming in. Or if they'd like to go to our Facebook page too, they can go to the Mystic Sisters Facebook page and add us, and just shoot us a message that you're interested in one of those CDs. And we have a Parlor Trick CD and a Muse CD published that we can send out to them. So
okay.
Parlor Tricks is actually a hypnosis CD that we made. It's kind of funny because talk about the laws of attraction and manifesting was one we created early on in our career for communication. Parlor Tricks, mediums of the past used to get, do, Ouija board or crystal ball reading and channel. And so we set the scene as it being a beautiful parlor with, an amber light and a beautiful staircase and all of this. And we talked about back in the day of spiritualism and, how the country used to do these things and what's called parlor tricks. And, fast forward several years into the future, we have a turn-of-the-century home that our ancestors more than likely did these parlor tricks in. And Harry Houdini's great-great-nephew, is endorsing us. It's one of the first people he's ever endorsed. The first Houdini-endorsed medium. We've had him stay, and we've done an event for the Michael J. Fox Foundation and had him to town. So it's just, and the testimonial is on this CD. But, I mean, just truly thoughts are things. Spirit is always downloading these. Sometimes it just doesn't even make sense to us at the time until all of a sudden you look around and you're living it. So thoughts are things. Our angels are definitely always in communication, but I think we've really forgot to listen of how they communicate. I think that information is definitely coming back. I think we're just babes in the woods when it comes to the powerful creators that we are. And it's just exciting. It's just great to share it with you, like-minded, beautiful human beings of the light that want to get this sacred knowledge. Like we all have a piece of the puzzle, right? We all just keep getting better and better at this.
Okay. Hey, we're going to have to stop there. But before we sign off for the evening, your website is themysticsisters.net.
Yeah.
Okay. I also want to remind the listeners this weekend you have the AAPS, Ancient Artifact Preservation Society, meeting in Harris, Michigan at the Island Resort Casino and Convention Center. The following weekend is the Shakespeare Oxford Fellowship conference in Oakland, California. We have a bunch of guests. We're trying to fill them in, but we got some great shows in the works, exciting books, and I'm just looking forward to each new show.
All sorts of good ones.
Yeah. Just like I said, I'm just trying to get some things stabilized here, but hopefully soon we can get back to like a Tuesday schedule or something like that. But keep watching Barbara's posts, and we'll keep you informed. We've got some good stuff in the works. So I think we're getting pretty close to.
Yeah. It's time to say goodnight, Mark.
Okay. Well, good night. Thank you, ladies. Thank you, listeners. We will see you hopefully next week or the week after. We are working hard to bring the best guests to you. So thank you again, and we'll see you soon.
Good night, everybody.
Thank you so much for having us.
Good night.
Take care, guys.